recorded in the gateway to the West for all of America and the world. It's DSP Sports with David Beard and Don Stevens.
Well, here we are with another week of DSP Sports. We're primarily going to talk football because that is the sport that's in session right now that everyone cares about. Welcome, David. How was your weekend? Your week?
Don, it's good. I'm recovering from eating a ton of food. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and it's good to be with you.
I had a great Thanksgiving. I had a roast, and it was tasty, and there was enough adult beverage for me to forget about the fact that I had family all around me.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, the game that I want to talk about, NFL-wise, would be Sunday Night Football. Peyton Manning and his Colts versus the Chargers and whoever their quarterback was. You probably know that better than I would.
Phillip Rivers.
Yes. Now, from the way I saw it, Peyton Manning was scared the entire time. It looked like he was constipated with every throw that he made. They just owned him. And I was surprised to see that.
Well, something happened to him in that game before that in New England. That last series where he threw that pick and they lost the game, because he came right into San Diego the next week in Indy, but against San Diego, and continued to just keep playing like that. And I think I even said that he looked like he was playing like Brett Favre, the way he was throwing picks left and right. No confidence whatsoever.
Yeah, that surprised me more because I had not seen those games. And I knew that New England had beaten them and whatnot, but I knew that I think it was pretty close or something. But I didn't know all the details behind it, and that explains it. They were also putting a lot of pressure on him, and making it hard for him to breathe. It looked like that they had gotten to him just in that game alone. Even now, do the Chargers and the Colts have a history together? Are they one of the big rivalries in the NFL?
They are. A few years back, there's a lot of controversy right now in the NFL about teams with 500 or below records making the playoffs. But about 3 years ago, the Chargers were 8-8. They won their division. They actually got into the playoffs over your New England Patriots, who were 11-5. But they upset the Colts. And there's also been a big rivalry between the Chargers organization and the Mannings. Ever since Eli Manning refused to go there, there's been a big rivalry over that as well.
Really?
So there's some hard feelings between the two organizations.
Well, that makes sense. I guess that makes for potential excitement on the field as well, which is good for us, the fans. Now, Brett Favre managed to look past his penis and pull out a win this last weekend, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he did, and they did it the old-fashioned way. They all of a sudden they thought it was last year, and they ran the ball. He didn't make mistakes, and it kind of makes you think if they really just quit on the Childress, the guy before that. And they didn't play great last week, but they didn't turn the ball over, and they relied on their running game, which is something that they haven't done all year. Favre has been throwing the ball around like crazy. He had like 7 picks all of last year, Don. And I think he already has like 15 picks or something crazy like that. I could be wrong, but I know he has a lot more picks than he had last year.
Well, we've seen in all sports, no matter what, they change, whether you think it's the coach or not, that is causing them to not do as well. They change coaches, and automatically they score a couple wins. I know it happens in the NHL all the time.
It happened with Dallas Cowboys this year as well.
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys was another team I'd been wanting to talk to you about. It looks like that their season has, if not necessarily turned around, it seems like they're playing slightly better football than they were at the beginning.
They are, but their hole is too deep now. And with that loss last Thursday to New Orleans, their season's over, especially with Romo still out for a couple more weeks, I believe. But they are playing better, but they're still not who we thought they were in the beginning of the year. Now, they're still going to be probably in last place in that division.
I was rooting for the Cowboys in that game because I am against New Orleans. I am against who dat. I am against improper grammar on purpose.
So you are pro Katrina.
Well, okay, if you want to go there. if you want to go
just
there,
kidding.
I guess I'm pro Katrina as long as they're just taking out the football team. As long as the hurricane just takes out the football team.
Well, they almost take out the dome, so.
I use improper grammar all the time, but never on purpose. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I do just to make a point, but who dat? I'm against that.
I do all the time, and I don't even know I'm doing it because I just don't know.
All right, so the last time that we talked, you said that Michael Vick was playing MVP-style football. He lost this last week, if I'm correct. Is this just a blip on the radar, or is he going to continue to play most valuable player type football in the next week or so to come?
He did not play a bad game, though, last week, Don. He did have a turnover, which he hasn't had all year, but he did not play bad. He didn't play great, but I think he's still a candidate. And I think now it sounds like the media is really talking up Phillip Rivers. So what it comes down to is I think in the end it's going to be between Vic and Phillip Rivers for the MVP.
Fascinating. Now we've got the St. Louis Rams. You are excited about the St. Louis Rams. They are they at 500 right now?
They're one game under.
They're one game under. And they're playing the Chicago, St. Louis, Arizona Cardinals this weekend, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And I believe your words were, unless Kurt Warner comes out of retirement, the Rams are going to win.
I believe the Rams... Did I say that?
Yes.
Ooh, that doesn't sound like me because I don't like to jinx stuff. I have confidence in the Rams this weekend, Don.
Well, good. So do I. Tell us about your confidence. Tell us about your excitement. Tell us why.
Let me tell you why I have so much excitement and joy right now. The Rams have 5 wins this year. We have a total of 6 wins between the years 2007 and 2010. So if the Rams get 6 wins on Sunday, they'll have more wins in 3 months than they had in 3 years, or the same amount. So for somebody who's been sitting here watching every game in agony for years, it's really cool.
When I was a kid and I'd had friends over or family around and it was spaghetti night, I would talk about how much I love spaghetti, and someone would eventually say, Don, if you love it so much, why don't you marry it? So are you about ready to marry Sam Bradford?
No, but he can be my lover. How's that?
In a metaphorical football sense, correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. In other words, when you say lover, you mean you just want to throw the ball in the backyard with him.
Yeah, I'm talking, thrill up my leg stuff.
Who was that? Matthews.
Yeah, Chris Matthews.
Chris Matthews about Obama.
It's exciting. It's exciting to watch football again, and it's exciting because of Bradford. I mean, that's really the only thing that has changed over the last year.
Well, I enjoy watching them play when they're winning more than when they're losing. And like I said, I am a fair weather fan, and the weather's been fair enough for me to be a fan of St. Louis, and I'm looking forward to this weekend. As long as their game is actually on a network I can watch, and I'm there.
And it is. And if Peyton Manning is the new Brett Favre, then Sam Bradford is the new Peyton Manning, and life is good for us.
Life is good for us. Well, that'll be fun to watch. Is there anything else that's happened over the last week in the NFL that you'd like to mention right now?
I think nothing that's not been played out enough on TV. I mean, when the Arizona Cardinals quarterback is down by 30 points on Monday Night Football and starts screaming about how he wasn't laughing on the sideline, I think that's pathetic. And if that was my team and the quarterback was getting killed like that and he was on the sideline laughing, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense. Speaking of, well, actually, there's just no way to segment it. Let's talk about the greatest team the NBA has ever seen, and that is Miami.
Yeah, we're witnessing history, Don.
We are witnessing history. They are just a game above 500. The last I checked, I don't know what happened last night if they played or not.
I think they're 2 games now, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. How's that work?
Well, I believe they're 10-8, and the best record in history. This is why this team is going to be so great, Don. So the season just started. They're 10-8. They're only going to lose one more game the rest of the year, according to all the experts, because they can't lose 10 games because the best record in history is 72-10. So that's why they're so awesome, is they're getting all their losses out of the way now, and then they're going to go on this unbelievable run where they're just going to beat everybody and sweep their way into the finals.
I love it. That's the way to do it. To get all your losses out of the way. That's what the Rams have been doing the last couple seasons.
I've been doing that my whole life besides 6 years of it.
No, that's awesome. I like that strategy because you get all the stressful losses out of the way, and then you just have clear sailing and victory.
This is December 1st. The season isn't over till May. They're only going to lose one more game between now and May, according to all the experts, because they're just the greatest team ever.
Well, let's look at it this way. Odds are that no matter what happens, they'll have a better season than the Charlotte Bobcats.
Ooh. that's a tough one. And you know what? They're only 2 games better than the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, which is really funny.
Well, I know that the people of Cleveland are not happy with Benedict Arnold. I mean, what's his name? LeBron James. And
he gets in tomorrow for a big game tomorrow night.
Yeah? Is that what they're doing? They're playing each other tomorrow?
Tomorrow night. They're talking about how they're flying. They have a game tonight in Miami.
Really?
And they're flying into Cleveland like 3 in the morning, and then they're flying out right afterwards because they don't want to hang out too long in Cleveland.
The greatest NBA team in the history of all NBA teams, the Miami Heat with LeBron James and his 2 merry men.
The greatest player in the history, too, Don.
Oh, most certainly.
With no rings, of course.
No, he doesn't have a single ring?
No.
Wow. I mean, you can buy those at Walmart. You know. He can buy a class ring and put NBA on it. And then put champs underneath it, and he'll be all set.
He's only been to one final, actually, and got swept out by the Spurs like 4 years ago.
I think Magic has more rings than he does.
Magic has more rings than everybody except for like Wilt and Jordan.
Yeah, so Magic has more rings than LeBron James. Kobe has more rings than LeBron James. A Bird has more rings. Wait, Danny Ainge has more rings than LeBron James. That's John Stockton, I believe.
Will Perdue.
That's list the people who have more rings than LeBron James, and we'll be here all day. But if the show was just about LeBron James, it wouldn't even be on because he hasn't gotten a single ring yet. But he is the greatest player
on the greatest team.
On the greatest team of all time.
They might be able to beat the Dream Team with 92 dunks.
Well, I mean, I thought I was being low when I said that they would do better than the Bobcats.
I think that's fair.
Well, this is Sports Talk, DSP Sports, with Don Stevens and David Beard. We've covered the football, we've covered the basketball, and I'm sitting on a baseball. You have a great week. David, is there anything you want to say to the populace that is waiting for your final word?
Big game this weekend. Rams win this game, they will win the division.
Hoo-ah! Now I've got that. I'm writing it down. If the Rams win this game, they have the division. Okay, I'm bringing that up next week. This is DSP Sports.
You've been listening to DSP Sports with David Beard and Don Stevens. Tune in next time for more sports.